Bitcoin or Ethereum? That's the question everybody's asking for 2025. I'll break it down for you. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back into Tech Path. Listen, it's going to be a good one today. We're going to break down a lot of what's happening within the ETH ecosystem, how Bitcoin could play out in 2025. Before we do that, I do want to thank our sponsor, and that is Coinbase. A great place to get out there and get into your own crypto platform. It's the future of money. So all you have to do is use our link down below. You're going to get $200 in crypto to get started. Maybe this is your first time to get started in crypto. So of course, Coinbase is a great place to get started. Let's go over to a couple of points I want to hit on today. One, of course, is CBDC. We'll get into where the stock market is right now. If you see where it has been, now it has recovered slightly as of recording, but posting back-to-back losses during the Santa Claus rally, which did not happen. Of course, as you saw, we did not see the numbers, even though we have seen a little bit of adjustment. I don't know if that's going to happen through the end of the month or not. Here we are recording this on December 30th. One other thing to take a look at is just how much money is sitting on the sidelines. Right now in U.S. money markets, you've got a current 6.75 trillion. That's the right trillion. Look at the chart right here also. This is unbelievable to see that much money sitting in yield-bearing accounts in money market funds that most likely are looking for high yield opportunities going into 2025, some of which have maybe already taken their tax losses for the year and are waiting for a January 1st event. That's where I think a lot of things are going to start to play out for both Bitcoin and also for Ethereum. Tether facing their EU regulatory hurdles. Of course, right now, as MiCA starts to roll out, I think it's effective today. This, of course, is affecting the current market cap. It's dropping by almost $2 billion. So that's one factor we've pointed out to you guys, is that Tether would most likely take a market hit. If you take a look at CoinMarketCap, this is on the 30-day for Tether. Price is, of course, a little bit under, but if you look at the market cap in general, this is kind of where everybody's been looking at the performance, and of course, dropping off 140 billion. Now, this has happened before. We've seen it in past cycles. That's a big factor, and of course, everybody's been knowing this is coming. All of the delistings on Tether will happen this week, so be looking for that. Other things to look at right here, Tether Bitcoin holdings are also hitting 7.6 billion after the latest Bitcoin edition. So maybe what they're doing is holding Bitcoin and not U.S. securities. So I don't know. This is what we're taking a look at with Tether in general. Other things I want to take a look at is, of course, where are stablecoins holding out? If you look at this chart right here, stablecoins, USDT and USDC, and of course, Solana leading the way here on what we are seeing in terms of stablecoins being held. So again, good growth here. Solana continues to be a high performer in terms of, especially on stablecoins. The other thing I want to take a look at is just the amount of growth we saw on Uniswap. Just to look at this, guys, this is an insane pump that we saw in the month of December. Its highest ever on Uniswap. Again, decentralized exchanges will be, I think, one of the biggest categories that we'll see in 2025. Other things we're going to be watching, of course, is real-world assets. Tokenized Treasuries right here, over 4 billion now, and continuing to roll. If you look at this, a very big explosion. Some of this, of course, coming from Hashnote, which is the one to kind of take a look at, almost a 1.8 billion in market cap right there. Other things to look at within real-world assets is just the networks themselves. And of course, you have to look at Ethereum, which is why we think ETH is the way to go when you look at the potential for 2025. Again, Ethereum absolutely overperforming here, and I think it's just getting started. When you look at security being one of the biggest factors, and anybody that's looking to try to build within the crypto ecosystem, ETH has been the basis of where they're going. So just keep a little bit of an eye on that, because as you look at both the Bitcoin price kind of hovering around that 90 to 92 range, and you look at ETH, do we get that performance on Ethereum? Because we haven't seen a big drop in the ETH price as comparison to where Bitcoin was at 105 or 106 from its high. So definitely one to watch. Just to take a look on TradingView, this of course is the ETH BTC chart. And you can see the decline of ETH all the way back until we hit around the 22nd of December. And this is the performance that we started to see on Ethereum. And if you look at Bitcoin in general, and I think this is one of the things that you have to kind of consider, right here on the 17th of December was when we saw that 106 high and the adjustment off of that. So this might be the pivotal point for Ethereum to start making its move, especially going into the first of the year. All right, so I want to go over to this website right here. It's called Stable Finance, all right? And if you look at this, you're going to notice something. Let me just zoom in on this. That's the 8% yield on your savings. Now, that's pretty crazy if you think about that. Notice the number there, 17x more than traditional savings account. Some of these are pretty pathetic. Wells Fargo right there. But then you look at places like Robinhood, Wealthfront, even Betterment, all holding it above the 4%. Even Coinbase has been able to do that. So the question, though, and I think that everybody needs to be looking at is what are we going to see in the stablecoin market, especially as we roll out in 2025. The market could hit as much as $2 trillion in terms of a market cap. And if you take a look at the RWA website and jump over to stablecoins, you can see the market cap right there, 200 billion. So that would be a 10x from where we are right now on the future of stablecoins. So the possibility of really this taking off is huge. And remember, Ethereum is a big part of this, obviously with Circle and USDC being a big key component. I want to go to a clip real quick because this will get into Jeremy Allaire, the CEO of Circle, talking about USDC or stablecoins and CBDCs. Take a look.
It seems like there's no direction going towards a CBDC in the US.
Doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah. There's nothing happening.
Okay. You don't want it to exist?
No,
or?
no.
Yeah.
There's no work happening.
Right.
And there's no interest in Congress in picking it up.
Right.
So there's nothing happening.
I mean, there are so many CBDC projects that are happening all around the world. Research. Nothing like that is happening in the US.
Correct.
A lot of folks that have heard about the ECMI in China, the interesting thing is they're almost copying a page out of crypto because they're trying to force usage. So they're essentially airdropping. They don't use the word airdrop, right? But they're airdropping
coupons.
it into coupons, into ECMI wallets, and then encouraging them to actually use it for tourism or whatever it is.
And what's interesting is that despite the research projects on CBDCs, the highest priority for all of these governments is stablecoin rules because the market's already here.
Exactly.
The market's already delivering this.
The fact that he's so adamant about this is that the development's just not happening. I think he sees the writing on the wall coming in from regulation that most likely will take place. It's not even most likely. It's going to happen in early 2025. We're going to have a regulation scenario that plays out for stablecoins. And once that occurs, I think that is where the idea of CBDCs, and Trump has already shown and talked about this, he's not for a CBDC anyway. So I think the US leads the way on this for sure. I want to go to this article real quick, Ethereum to outperform Bitcoin in Q1. And there's 3 reasons that they're talking about. Some of these, and you're going to recognize most of them. Price dynamics for Bitcoin in general. Ethereum still trades about 30% below its own. ETFs also are available. Retail investors could perceive this as a better play. And also that it's a little bit cheaper. I'll zoom in on that. Also, then you look at number 2, pro-crypto policies under Trump. He's got backed ETF focused assets. And remember that Trump also has the Web3 Leadership Fund. So there's a lot there. And then the base ecosystem itself is just very, very extensive. And it has emerged as probably the one secure component when it comes to crypto. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of companies and projects continuing to flourish on Ethereum, which is why I think we're going to see a move on ETH in early 2025. Some people believe that this is going to happen because you can just look at how they're holding Ethereum. ETH is continuing to grow above 60, almost a little, well, it's actually cracked above 80% right here in long-term ETH versus Bitcoin holders. ETH is definitely performing out over Bitcoin in general. And I think that's the question. I mean, I know that I hold more ETH than Bitcoin, and I know that I believe in Ethereum more than Bitcoin when it comes to the current short term. And I think the long term still has a lot to be decided on how Bitcoin does. And I get that there's a lot of major companies out there betting on Bitcoin, but I'm just looking at Ethereum as being one of the core of how the next internet begins. It's going to be how a lot of the RWAs work, and that is really where we're going to see a lot of growth. Further into this, you just look at this, Bitcoin supply on EVM chains grew significantly, largely due to the introduction of Bitcoin staking. That's the other thing kind of interesting. Maybe there's an out here for Bitcoin holders on an EVM chain to actually go out there and get some staking. That could be another play that could go good for Bitcoin in general. Also, if you look at tokenized commodities, gold continuing to climb. So tokenized gold could be a reality. Peter Schiff will probably be very happy about that one. when it comes to it. But that's the point we're getting at, is that tokenization of securities, commodities, what we'll see in other assets, real world assets in 2025, I think is just beginning. So keep a very, very close eye on all of that. 16 billion in FTX repayments are happening, and it's going to happen in January. Now the question is, where does that 16 billion go? So if you were a receiver of that, and some of you may be, you get, 10,000, 100,000, $1 million back on your FTX account. Where are you going to put it? Would you put it in stablecoins and try to earn yield? Or would you go into the market on something like a Solana? Or would you go into altcoins? Would you go further into the meme market? Let me know down below. I think a lot of people are starting to look at where they would go. The question is, would you buy a $90,000 Bitcoin with that money today? That's the real question mark that I think everybody's asking. Just to take a look, here's what Grayscale is doing. I was surprised that some of these kind of looks like my portfolio. You see Bitcoin, of course, on there, but then you also see something new, and that is Hyperliquid on there. Then you go down a little bit further, ENA, we've already known about, stablecoins. There's Virtuals Protocol, you've heard us talk about that. Then, of course, Lido, which they've been in for a while, but Jupiter, wham, there's Jupiter, and guess what? There is Jito. When you think about staking your Solana, well, most people are doing that on Jito. So interesting that we're seeing major companies start to go this far into the market around crypto and where a lot of this market is emerging. And of course, Grayscale being the leader on it. So kind of cool to see that happening. All right, guess what, guys? We hit 1 million subscribers. I cannot believe it. You have helped us do it. We want to thank you guys so much for being part of that in 2024. 2025 is going to be even bigger. All you got to do is subscribe to the channel right now. If you guys want to catch me, you can do so out there on Twitter. It's just @PaulBaron. And if you're not in the Diamond Circle, get in right now. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.